But we dare not turn on our light, for we must preserve fuel where we can. We have just 1 barrel left in reserve. It's a desperate gambit, but I believe it to be our only hope of survival. Very well then, we will launch from Irem, and we will sail without light, for our fuel is too low to spare. Steel yourselves against the gloom, my crew. We cannot afford to give in to terror. What great dome is this? Who are the people of Irem? What do they know? Discovered Nablus Reef. Let's send forth the Zeebat. We've forgotten all about our beautiful Zeebat on this voyage. How terrible of us. Some distance to the southeast. Oh, what's this? What is that ship powered by? Are those dolphins or whales or something? Curious form of transport in an even more curious place. Discovered the Gant Pole and Tussler's Channel, which appears to be between 2 vast skeletal structures emerging from the murky depths. Something drifts face down. But look! A port lies ahead! Chabelle Port. What wonders might we find here? Sadly, I fear it won't be a place where we can unload our human souls. Chelenate. A shell as big as a wild dream. Waves lap the slabby sides of a vast turtle shell, bigger than any cathedral. Chelenates loaf on wooden docks around the shell sides, staring sullenly. The lamps hang like decorations on a festive butcher's window. All around you, the sea is rank with scraps of ancient flesh. Allow the plausible surgeon to go ashore here. Oh my word! Look at these scars! Look at these stains! Release me from my contract, Captain, I beg you! I've saved up enough to compensate you! Oh really? Ordinarily, I would not be prepared to let you go now, my friend, the plausible surgeon, although of course I understand your desire for the intrinsic scientific value of this place and what you might discover, but certainly at this particular point in time, as we are somewhat low on echoes, and here we can not buy fuel, but perhaps somewhere else we can buy fuel. And if you can afford to pay me a substantial amount, then we can make for the nearest port and hoover up as much fuel as we can take aboard. Very well then, my friend, the plausible surgeon, for our time here is bought with great cost, and you have journeyed far with me into the far north and the far east. You have stayed aboard ship, even though we have neared disaster on more than one occasion. So, my friend, go ashore, if you will. A pocketful of echoes. The surgeon is as good as his word. Hands trembling, he counts out the coins and whispers a little secret he picked up back in London. He's vague about why he didn't mention it before. He collects his knives and instruments, heads into the shell, and is gone. We have one strategic information. We've gained 200 echoes. Yes, that's enough to buy a goodly amount of fuel. But we have lost our old and dear friend, the plausible surgeon. Farewell, my friend. I hope you find what you are looking for. The Chelenate. Be sure your crew will make it back safely. A high-risk challenge. A 16% chance. Our iron is too low, I believe. Obtain a doomed monster hunter. We do not have a captivating treasure. Compile a port report. How does one express this very striking smell? No matter what details you try to record, the stench creeps in around the edges of the sentences. The Chelenate, watchful, despite the reek. Movement among the miasmic scraps of long-abandoned monster carcass. Frequent jewels, where the stink is thickest. You now have one of this, a port report on the Chelenate. Tales for the bone. Someone is crying unusual wares. Follow the sound. Tales for the bone! The Scrimshaw Chronicler. A scrawny man squats beneath an awning of giant coloured whale skin. Bring me your tales, he cries. Tales for the bone! Bring him a tale. Sadly, we do not have a hunting trophy, but we do have many other things. Perhaps not today, but if we're ever back in the area, my friend, we shall see. I believe the best plan is for me to take the Chipping Norton back to the prison, for there fuel was available, and at a sensible price, and it means going forward instead of back, which I think is better. We may even discover the location that we're searching for on the way. Come then, crew! The decision has been made. The plausible surgeon has given us a lifeline in the form of his savings. Sadly, we have lost his company, which shall be missed. But nonetheless, we venture on, and we leave him with our thanks. I wonder if we'll encounter any more of those whale ships. It didn't seem hostile, but then we didn't get that close. Southwest, the course then. We sail for the prison, but keep your eyes open, crew. There could be something else out here. For example, Sasha Town. It appears to be built on a somewhat smaller shell. Let's just turn our light off here. I forgot for a moment there that our fuel was still somewhat low. Where is our terror? Terror. 34! The Z is wide and dark. Terror is increasing. It is, but we dare not turn on our light, for we must preserve fuel where we can. We have just one barrel left in reserve. I think we should be able to make it. If not, we can always find some oily rag, or besiege the gods, perhaps. Though if they'll show us mercy, who can say? But wait, what's this? Some kind of construction ahead. Discovered Khan's shadow. What is this place? We've just come from the carcass of some great sea beast. And now is this the carcass of a great many ships, perhaps? January 7th, 1888. The Salt Steppes. This is the domain of the new Khanate, whose ancestors came here long before London fell. It's like an island made of ships. Wanderer's Haven. Very well. We will stop here. Perhaps here we will find fuel. Make dock. Khan's shadow. The city that swam. Long ago, the Khanate turned its back on its warrior traditions. It has no place for pirates, and would-be nomads. So here, in the shadow, the exiles make their home, amid 100 wrecked, grounded, decommissioned ships. Compile a port report. So many malcontents. So little time. Closely written notes. Conniving, debauching, speechifying, drinking, singing, speeching, poeting. Now and then, a drunken duel. Very occasionally, a savage, ritual murder. You now have a port report for Khan's shadow. But wait, before we do anything else, surely the most important thing is to see if we can purchase fuel here. Trade unfettered by the Khanate's laws. The traveller's friend. Fuel, supplies, and wonders. We are saved at last, for there is fuel here. Fuel for a mere 15 echoes. The cheapest we have seen, perhaps since leaving London. Yes, we will buy as much as we can. There we go. We've spent all of our echoes, but we have 15 fuel. The ship is well fueled at long last. We feel somewhat better. Somewhat better. We have a crate of human souls which we can sell here for 0. Which, frankly, I think I'm not going to do, because why would I sell it for 0? It's not even my unstamped crate of human souls, and so there is little to gain as a result. Let us simply move on and explore this place. and see what wonders we can find here. We have acquired 15 fuel, and the crew are much relieved. It is thanks indeed to the plausible surgeon that we were able to acquire such a large haul. But we still have a problem. We still have to locate Mount Palmerston, where we can offload this dodgy crate of human souls that has been burning a hole in my hold all this time. But do we press on, exploring in the east here? Or do we make for London, where we can no doubt cash in our many port reports for a healthy dose of echoes? Perhaps enough to replace our fuel and come out once again? We do run the risk, however, of our contraband being discovered. This would not be good. Let us press on and explore more in this area. I think, as we have made it all the way out here into the east, it would be a shame to return home to London quite so soon, though perhaps we should start to explore a little further around. And so we leave dock once again, departing Khan's Shadow and Wanderer's Haven. But what is this up ahead? Another dock? So close? So near? What does the Zeebat say? Discovered Ogdill's Bridge. There are no islands within the Zeebat's range. Well, perhaps not, but there is certainly some kind of floating city. Ogdill's Bridge. Discovered the Cooper Quarter. Reoccurring nightmare. Watched. The sea is bright as milk. Full stars above are black on the pitchy bed. Something is watching you. Its gaze enfolds your boat. You are transparent as glass. Flee the nightmare. Turn the helm and flee across the milk-bright sea. This will reduce nightmare's strength. If it reaches 0, the nightmare will fade entirely. If you have any restful nights, that'll reduce the difficulty. A modest challenge. 75% chance of success. An escape. The sea churns in your wake. You pull away from the eye. In the shallower waters of waking, but a terror clings. We've lost one menace. The nightmare's strength is now 1. We've gained 2 terror. We are nervous, but we have succeeded in our heart's challenge. Come, let us make dock in Cooper Quarter, at Khan's Heart. This looks like a very fine place indeed. London's rival. Khan's Heart. An oasis of light in the salt black wastes. Canals thread the painted city. Street lamps glow and water taxis putter. Seek a commercial license. The Carthaginians dislike merchants, and they dislike foreigners. Foreign merchants induce paroxysms of antipathy. Perhaps sufficient bribes will buy your way into the Neferit Quarter? Unlocked with more than 0 Neferit ring. We don't really have any money for bribes. Wander Khan's Heart. The foreigners are restricted to Cooper Quarter, but as long as you don't try to cross the bridges, you can explore in reasonable safety. Then let's do so. A song of the surface. Someone is singing in English. Something about a tree of wines and a stolen city. A sea of grass, and a storm of bats. Melancholy, pure and sweet. Achingly familiar. You cross the street, cut back through an alleyway, trying to find it, but it ends before you get close. You find yourself humming it on the way back to the ship. Another Zayla takes up the tune. That's all for now. We've had a vision of the surface, and we have lost 2 terror. Pay a storyteller. The storytellers in the square of cedars wear brightly coloured caftan-like clothing, with silk sashes, in contrast to the more sober and subterranean dress of the citizenry. For coin, even foreign coin, they'll sing epics of their nation's history. 5 echo. Sure, why not? The Temptations of Parabola. Where London now stands, the capital of the Khanate once stood, after its own disappearance from the surface. After the clean sky and wide earth, they went half mad in the close night under the earth. They found serpent things in mirrors that promised them diversion, escape, new horizons. In time, the mirror serpents became masters, not servants. And the last true Khan led the last of his people to the salt steppes, to the black rock where he founded this city. How he built it is a tale for another day. You feel eyes on you. A woman in white and gold uniform watches you closely. The loyalty service is suspicious of foreigners who want to learn Carthaginian history. We've lost 5 echoes, we've gained a memory of distant shores, and we have one white and gold watching us menace. Gather a port report. The Khanate generally assumes that all foreigners are spies, or worse. It would be a shame to disappoint them, but it might be dangerous to prove them right. It's very sad, but these are human troubles, surely.
I'm in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight, and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe.
Double?
Take any men you need. They're loyal. I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
Well, seeing as you asked so nicely, and indeed offered double the tithe, you did say double, right? You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the great hall. He cuts to the chase. Eric, steward of Strand. I manage the governor's business.